Hi, I'm Zaben. Welcome to my channel. So, I just finished having my shower. And I love water. I mean, I've been seduced by water, talked to with water. I've experienced water throughout my life as, this magical thing that's where I would find my peace next to the waves, by the lake, on the beach. All kinds of water elements have always been my peace, in a sense. And then I lost track of that when I was in abusive relationships. I was too busy in my head. And for the past few years, I've been remembering. I used to write poetry next to the water when I was little. Always carrying a little notepad and my pen. And it would be love poetry from the water to me. And I think I have them. I think I still have them. I found them a while back. I was like, oh my God, it's been water always. And I would write to the waves and I would talk to the waves, right? Of course, tree hugging, that's been a thing that I didn't know it was a thing when I was doing it. I started it when I was 9. I was like hugging trees. Everyone thought I was mad. But anyway, that's the normal thing. What I'm trying to get at is I had a shower today, and in the shower I got clarity, which seems to happen all the time, and it seems to happen with everybody, except hardly anyone's really paying close attention to how wonderful taking that shower is and what it does. So I was writing this email, I was answering an email back from someone that's very dark and toxic to be around. But I had to. It was, I had to respond. And as I responded back, I was like enraged. I was in that same energy of like, and it was mainly like a whole thing of lack, right? Like this person was like a victim and, and poor him and all that stuff. And as I started to read and feel, I would feel this person through the words, right? I would feel their true, what state they were in. And I started to absorb that, and I started to be in a space of lack. So I was like writing, and I was defending myself, and I was explaining like this is incorrect behavior. Like, everyone's struggling financially at some point, but there are things that need to be paid for. There are things that need to happen. And then as I was like writing, I started to feel that, oh my God, I'm like, I'm feeling the same way. Like, I'm so, worried about the future of this and the future of that. I was going to future, like, what if, this doesn't happen, or and I was starting to feel like I'm trying to like figure out ways to make money, like all this just through the email, right? We figure out ways to make for the future of my daughters and for the future of the possibilities. If I, if I don't do this and if I don't argue for my limitations, then, in the future I will be poor. And I was like, oh my God, so I wrote the email and I was like, I revised it a few times. It felt like this is my truth for now. This is what I feel. I removed all the gunk that I was like, blame and shame. I was like just speaking my truth and my vulnerability, not very deeply my vulnerability because of the toxicity of this person, but I was speaking my truth. I had my boundaries up. I explained myself and what I need, and then I pressed send, and I'm like, screw it. And that's when I went to have a shower. So as I was in the shower, I was feeling the water come down. I just asked God, oh my God, allow this water, and I talked to the water. Just cleanse my body, cleanse my insides and outside. Just release me of any toxicity that's on me that is not mine, that I don't need. And this just is one of the things I do. So as I was doing that, epiphanies. I was like, oh my God, there's a small version of me that is in reaction the same way that person is in reaction to the topic. There's a small version of me that this person is highlighting for me about myself, because they're acting and writing and speaking the same way that small little part of me, it's not a huge part anymore, but a small part of me is fighting for my limitations, fighting for my future of lack, right? To have more now so that I'm scared of lack. And as I was feeling that, what happened is I recognized that all that was doing was putting a spotlight for me so that I can free myself off of that deep desire to grab on in fear of this future thing that I'm horrified of, right? And I recognized, oh, well, I don't want to be like that person. I'm now grateful to that person for me observing myself, that that's a version of me that I need to sit with. And so as I was in the shower, I was like, okay. I did some Donna Eden. I like opened up it's called the zip up, but you can also zip up is this way. You zip up your energy. You can do it this way and just, that's like prune hair, set this. That you can clear it out. It's like clearing out that meridian of all the gunk. And I did it in the shower, and then I zipped myself back up, 3 times. I like to do things 3 times. And then I felt more rejuvenated. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna sit with myself and see where that version of me that's all like horrified of lack in the future, that I'm trying to fix everything now in fear of that possibility. And so I just sat there in the water and just saw and said, you know what? I accept you being here. You're allowed here. This version of me, you can. And as Kyle C says so beautifully, this version of me is allowed to exist within me. And I love that because now I use it so often. This version of me is allowed to exist with me because I'm so expansive, and it's only one of many different versions that are allowed. So I just sat there and I said, oh, lack, you, the fear of the future, the lack, the need to grabbing on and explain and fight for your rights. You're allowed to exist, and you're allowed to feel those feelings. And I really went into that. I really felt into it. And as I felt into it, it just subsided. That it's not fair, that not fair part of me, right? That scared part of me. And I sat and I just said, okay, there you are, and here I am. And I'm loving you through it. And I'm loving you through it. You're allowed to be afraid. You're allowed to feel lack. You're allowed to feel whatever you're feeling. And I'm loving you anyway through it. And as that happened, that version of me relaxed. Just relaxed. I was able to breathe. There was no urgency. There was no emergency. And it kind of just faded into the rest of me. Switched off my shower, came out, and decided I'm going to do this video. Blow dried my hair. Because I'm doing this for me and for whoever wants to watch. But it's mainly my diary in a sense, because these are all epiphanies for me. These are ways that I help myself, and therefore I end up helping my clients and helping so many people. So I like to keep it as my diary of insights, and I speak it in the sense of helping you and helping myself remember this part and how that happened for me. So one of my biggest suggestions is jump in the shower. Jump in the shower and talk to the water and ask the water to relieve you and to maybe bring you insights. Water is created by the divine. We're 70% water. Water seems to be taking over the world. Everything exists, like nothing could exist without water, right? On this planet. Absolutely nothing. So, be more attuned to what we take for granted here, and we're too busy thinking of other things, to the magic that actually exists on the planet. Water is magic. It's like beyond magic. I'm going to talk about it and put it also here at some point, like what I've discovered about water throughout the journey of my life and the magic it produces. So get in the shower. Give yourself the freedom to look deep within, and your intention is to clear up. Right? To clear up any gunk there, to clear up anything that is holding you back from the best version of yourself right now. And just allow it to happen. It happens, it happens, it doesn't. Even if it doesn't happen, that version of you will come up and say, oh, it didn't happen, things don't work for me. Sit with that version. Then that's what showed up, right? Sit with that version and just say, oh my God, you're totally allowed to exist. Right? Like, thank you for showing up. I love you through it. I completely love you. I'm large enough. I'm expansive enough to allow this version of me to also exist. The version that is all like, things don't work out for me, it's not fair, nothing I do works. It's like, oh my God, I love you. Just do you. I accept your presence here. I accept that you're here. I'm not going to fight against you and prove you wrong anymore. I'm just going to be here with you as you feel this. Oh, I just felt it dissolve. It's just like, oh, okay. I can feel this way. Okay, great. Okay. That's all I've got for now. So I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me how water has worked for you. The more information I gather, the happier I become, and everyone else. So how has water benefited you? What are magical water tricks that you may know? And have you figured out what little part of you keeps showing up that you are in hate of? You know, that shadow aspect of yourself that keeps wanting to just speak up and you keep yelling at? And give yourself permission just to sit with it. That's all I can say. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.